have siblings up in here? Brothers, sisters, raise your hands. Hi. Anybody an only child? Only child? God bless you. Amazing. I am jealous of you already. Not really. I mean, I love my brother. Awesome. We were just the two of us, me and my brother, and he was about 4 years older than me. And so there were some times, you know, being the youngest kid and the youngest kids up in here. Yeah, so you kind of strive to be like your older brother, your older sibling, and neither of us were really that great at sports, so that wasn't kind of an issue for us. But my brother was amazing at art and drawing. He still is, and he's studying that right now in school. And my drawings were like stick figures and like triangles and like, you know, it was ridiculous. And so I just did not match up. I was not to par with my brother in artistic kind of abilities, and so there's a little bit of jealousy that arose there. But you know, he was jealous of my Jufro and my good looks, so that was okay. But probably not. I don't think so. But along with sibling rivalry, right? We've all had that sibling rivalry. We're jealous of each other. We're trying to be the best that we can be, impress our parents. There's also a jealousy in relationships that arise. And I don't know what my mom was doing, but she would watch these shows on TV, and I would come home from high school or college, and she would be watching these shows, and these people would be just screaming on the TV, fighting, fists being thrown, you know, the beeps being thrown out there, and the show that she was watching was this show called Cheaters. Anybody ever heard of it? And it is like Jerry Springer Takes a Field Trip. It is just like the craziest show. So basically what happens is that there's somebody who gets really jealous, or they start to get suspicious of their lover, and so they call the experts at Cheaters, and they investigate this person, and then they decide, okay, yeah, this guy is cheating on you, or this guy is not cheating on you. And then they give the person an option. Sometimes they find out actually the person's a good guy, but most of the time that doesn't happen because it's not that engaging of TV. But when they find out, okay, this guy is cheating on you, they give them the option. Okay, now do you want to confront this person? And they literally take them from that instant and drive them and find where the person is, and then they have this just knockdown, drag-out fight where jealousy and rage are all being thrown out there, and actually in one YouTube clip that I saw, the host actually gets stabbed by one of the boyfriends who is cheating. It's the craziest show. It's awesome. You should check it out if you want to take an introspection into low society. But I think that this kind of highlights that we sort of live in a jealous society, in a society that sort of is into coveting, and we idolize the rich and the famous, and you see so many kids who are trying to be the next pop superstar, dressed just like Hannah Montana, be doing all that, or just like T-Pain, or any of these people. And we're just not satisfied with what we have and who we are. And so we are trying to covet and be just like other people, and we're full of jealousy and all these things. And this happens in relationships too, that we see a lack of loving and exclusive relationships, that we see people with multiple partners and all these kinds of things. And then jealousy sometimes comes up, and then there's abuse, and there's negative things. For instance, 1 in 3 high school students will be involved in an abusive relationship. And a lot of times that abuse comes from jealousy, just simply selfishness and ambition. And so I want us to take a look today at jealousy, this issue, and we're going to look at a couple different things. But first of all, we need to define what jealousy is. And good old Webster's, who's been helping preachers since back in the day, says that jealousy is intolerance of rivalry or unfaithfulness, or hostility toward a rival, or one believed to enjoy an advantage, right? One believed to enjoy an advantage. Have you ever heard people be like, oh, that guy's so good at sports, I hate him. Or like, oh, he's so good, I hate him, I hate that guy, he's so good. That's kind of jealousy, that's what we're talking about. But, you know, we've already seen kind of some examples of what it's like to be jealous. And then there's also the stereotypical jealous boyfriend, right? Maybe some of you girls have had to deal with that, but the boyfriend who's just like, you know, you can only hang out with me, you better not call your friends, you better not hang out with other people or talk to other boys, or I'm going to freak out, right? That's some jealousy right there. And I think our selfish desires are really what cause jealousy. What cause us to become jealous is because we are so selfish. And so I want to look today at 2 different types of jealousy. And the first type comes to us actually from God, from God's jealousy. And this is the question I want us to ask: is there such a thing as righteous jealousy? And let's look at Exodus 34:14. It says this. It says, "Do not worship any other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." Now, this is Exodus. The Israelites have just been removed from captivity. They've been freed. They've been set free. And then God is giving them rules for them to flourish. Is giving them the rules that they need to live by in order to have a good life. And one of those things that he says is that you are not to worship any other God. I am a jealous God. My name is jealous. And if you have studied much of the Old Testament at all, ever, then you realize that this was a pretty good command that he gave them, because the Israelites were very prone to wander. That oftentimes they would turn their back on God and start worshiping other gods. That they would turn their back on God and they didn't have an exclusive relationship with him. But in reality, they owed their entire allegiance, everything they had, to God, because they were set free by God. They were set free by his power. And then there's a Hebrew word, kana, which means jealousy. And there's another word for jealousy, but this one word, kana, is only used by the jealousy of God. And it's a reflection of his desire for an exclusive relationship with his people. That the people of God are not to worship any other thing. And so we see that God is a jealous God, that God has jealousy, that God is righteous at the same time. So there is such a thing as righteous jealousy. And then there's also kind of another kind of righteous jealousy that you find in marriage. And St. Augustine said, "He that is not jealous is not in love." And I think that can be taken a little bit to an extreme, right? We've seen that extreme, and people freak out again. The jealous boyfriend or the jealous husband, even who's restricting other relationships based upon their jealousy of that fact. But this is a kind of dominating jealousy, like that we're talking about, that negative jealousy. And what we're talking about here is, again, a desire for exclusive relationship. That when you get married, you are saying to one another that you are the only person that I'm going to have this level of intimacy with. That there is no one else that I'm going to have this kind of relationship with. Now, are there any? There's a couple people married in here, right? I myself am married. There's a couple here. How many people want to get married someday in the future in their life? They want to get married? Okay, good. Half of us, whatever. Some of us are called to singleness, and that's okay. That's okay. But in your marriage, or in your future marriage, as you envision it, do you want to see your spouse having a deep, intimate relationship? And I'm not even talking about sexual or physical, but I'm talking about just this intimacy, that they have a level of intimacy that is so deep with somebody else that's not you. Do you want to see that? I don't think that's a vision for what you have. And so you have a desire, again, for an exclusive relationship with that person. And so righteous jealousy is the desire for exclusive relationship, and it is not born out of selfishness. It is born out of love. It is born out of the desire to be so intimate with somebody else, to have just a relationship that is so amazing and so exclusive. But on the flip side, there is such a thing as unrighteous jealousy. I think that we all know this. This is kind of the jealousy that we just assume when you throw out the word jealous. And Francois Duc de la Rochefoucauld said, in jealousy, there's more self-love than love. And I think that's true of unrighteous jealousy. And there comes a possessiveness that you get. That you become possessive of somebody. You think that you own them. And so then there is where unrighteous jealousy comes. James 3:16, it says, "For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice." And I think it's key to note here that jealousy is tied to selfish ambition. That it's not just simply jealousy standing on its own, but jealousy and selfish ambition exist. And then that's where disorder and vile practices occur. You see, in essence, what it's saying here is that we are completely wrapped up in ourselves, completely wrapped up with who we are and what we want, that it doesn't matter about anything else. We don't understand how to have a right relationship with somebody else. That we think it's all about ourselves and what we can get and the things that we need. So unrighteous jealousy then is the desire to control a relationship.